right, my afternoon trading begins, and I thought I would just record this. Why not? So let's look at a few things. So this morning, this was the new strong level given this morning, and boy, we seem to have been glued to that, have we not? Nice bounces here and hugging the line, and so that's been really nice. So this is nothing more than a slop and chop fest. This morning I said we're much more likely to go up than down because of this 30-minute trend line. News came out. We certainly went up. We've been up here the whole time. And now we are back. We are back to this 30-minute trend line. Will it hold again? I don't know. But I just know I don't have any trades to take. We did have a level here that bounced. I have now removed it. It did a double tap. It was a 30-minute level and had a really nice move up to the strong level, bounced, which now is allowing me to kind of draw this trend line here. I don't give it a whole lot of value at this point. I would really like to see price bounce one more time. But I'm looking at it and it seems pretty obvious. Let's go check everybody else out. Okay. But we are still all inside of yesterday's range. Will that change? It's certainly looking like it wants to, but it also doesn't mean that we don't just touch this and bounce. Okay, touch this and bounce. Touch this and bounce. So don't predict trade. Don't think you know where price is going to go. I mean, I want to go short full portfolio right here. But I'm against this 30-minute trend line. You can't do that. Then I got one more 30-minute level here, which should have some sort of reaction, unless they just decide to give it up. And when they all go to the door at the same time, your level's not going to hold. We've got the London overnight low. We got the Asia overnight low here. So let's watch what happens. New low. NQ making new lows too, right? Yep, NQ is making new low. It's London is there and it's Asia's right there.
Should I be trading?
Should I be trading? Yeah, but I'm not in a trade. Clear, clean, crisp levels are hard to come by here. One of my traders, Jackie, took a short there. Locked in 10 points. Did nice on that. Congratulations, man. POC is still hovering up here at the 1750. We are outside the 6 points from POC. It seems like it wants to go down, but it's not doing so. This is very difficult price action to trade. You don't have to trade every day. Just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you trade every day. I'm up 5 points from the morning. I'm okay if I don't take a trade this afternoon. I'd be interested in this thing doing like a single candle down here to this London overnight low, maybe grabbing this liquidity and give me something to go back that way. Why? Because the dominant trend is still up. Now, if and when everybody takes out their lows here, I think things have changed. Maybe the Titanic's turning, but maybe it's turning back, you know? I don't know. We don't do prediction trades. We follow what price does. We don't tell price what to do. When you do, you hurt yourself. We are still above the warning shot to bulls area. If we can get back into my strong range here, we might have a good move south. Will it do it today? I don't know. We got more red folders tomorrow. And next week is FOMC and non-farm payroll. We could hover here all day. Doesn't give me a trade. No big deal. There are easier days and there are easier trades. That's something we say in our group a lot. All right, let me tidy that up. Is there anything I need to remove? Oh, I think we're good. Okay. We watch. We wait. I need some new levels. That's what I need. I need to see movement. I need to see a shift in structure. I need to see a nice candle. Still 24 minutes to silver bullet hour. Here's the time in New York. So 23 more minutes before silver bullet. I like to get back to the charts a half hour before that, just to get in sync with the cadence and the tempo, and to do some top-down analysis again. Just like I do in the AM briefing, I did here before I got on. New York did stack on top of London, which stacked on top of Asia. Let's come back over here to Asia. Here, Asia, London. These are big liquidity targets down here, but I can't assume we're going to go there. Why? I've got this darn 30-minute trend line barrier. I've got another 30-minute level here. I got another level. So, got to be careful. Now, for some reason, I flipped over here, and let's just say Russell did that and NQ did that. Well, I'm going to be much more likely to probably get into a trade sooner than later off of a lower time frame. But right now I'm on 3 minutes. There's nothing to look at on a lower time frame. Nothing would interest me. I wish this 30-minute trend line happened to line up with the London low. Now that I would have liked. But to get to the London low, it's got to take out this 30-minute. Now, this is on a 3-minute chart. You can't delete a 30-minute level on from a 3-minute chart, typically. It's got to be broken on the time frame in which it was drawn. Now, because I play first touch bounces, I typically do remove them after they're touched. But in this case of this trend line, I'm going to require it to be broken. And broken on a 30-minute chart. In fact, let's go look at the 30-minute chart. Yeah, I wouldn't consider it broken until we probably got all the way down into here. Yeah. Let's check everybody else out again. NQ make a new low. And look how many times Dow has been to yesterday's low and popped back up. The thing noteworthy here is that Righty took the Asia liquidity, came back up. I still lean long over short at this time. Doesn't mean I have a trade. I can't just go long because I think it's going to go up. I want it to bounce off something to give some sort of momentum. Now, I would love to see that it touch this and come in, because that would prove to me that this is a real trend line. Right now, I don't know that's a real trend line. I want it to bounce one more time. And let's say for some reason price ripped north. Then this was never really a real trend line. Now, it could go straight up inside of this 3 minutes and then come straight back in, and that would count, like these wicks. So just because price goes, let's say, way up here, doesn't mean that it's broken. I want to see how the candle closes. I'll pull this over. Might look at it's hard to ignore that. This was a liquidity grab, and now we got this. Touch yesterday's low, now we got that. It's hard to ignore. It's not like two of the indices are vomiting and two are on the verge of it. We're all just hanging out at the bottom of yesterday's range. Could be just waiting for the news tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Let's look at it. Forex Factory. Tomorrow, PCE. Let's read what core PCE is. Change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, not including food and energy, which are two of our biggest expenses. Jeez. Not including food and energy. Well, you go to the grocery store and see $8 boxes of cereal and tell me there's not inflation. I don't know why they do it like that, but whatever. So these candles themselves are giving us a little strong line here, not to be ignored. And then when you couple that with Righty and Dow, makes you go, Still having a strong defense here off this 30-minute level. They could have just grabbed this liquidity here, and we go to all-time highs. You'd better only short if you have a clean, clear, crisp level and a backup level. And your ideal stop loss is within your risk management limits. This is yesterday's RTH halfback, which is almost exactly this halfback. "15 minutes to the top of the hour, basically. Another minute for this candle. I want to see what it does. Go take a peek at everybody else. I'm going to zoom this out. These are all 10-minute charts. Sometimes it's easier to see certain things on 10-minute charts than it is a lower time frame. So if this thing's going to bounce, it needs to be about here. If this thing's going to bounce, it needs to be about there. If this thing's going to bounce, it needs to be about there. And if this thing's going to bounce, it needs to be about right here. POC is up here. Let's take a peek at that histogram for POC. It's pretty darn prominent there, isn't it? All right, just watching. Ideally, this candle or the next candle needs to push it down for this to be a valid trend. And if it pushes straight up and we have some hard closes above it, it's done. You know, for my members, remember we had a 30-minute level here and this, and we have this 30-minute level. This is going to be a tough area to just rip through, especially when we're getting no strength of the move today. There's no real strength at all. See if they want to push that thing back in or up. Okay. So when we said we needed it to push down, started to push down, once again, that doesn't give me a trade. That's me telling the market what to do instead of me following the market. But it's nice when it, you say, hey, I think it's going to do this here, but I didn't have a level there to take a short. So no big deal. Who cares? Wait for the next setup. Then I'm going to look to see, do we bounce here? So we went up a little bit. Are we going to come back here and bounce? I'd like to know that. This does not give me a trade. I'm not taking that. I would want to see it happen. Ideally, I'd like to see this candle be white, maybe bounce off that VWAP, come back in to here, and then bounce. Because this is still bulls are in control. Just goes intraday. I have a little bit of a down trend line here. Like I said, I don't consider this really a downtrend line yet until if it bounced again. If for some reason this candle comes in, I'd go, okay, this is a valid little downtrend line. So this is for my members. What aren't we getting? What aren't we getting? You should know the answer to that question. If you don't, ask me on the trading floor. Let's go take a peek at everybody else. Is everybody else pushing? Pushing, pushing. Now testing VWAP. What if Dow pops over that really strong? We get over half back. We get over VWAP. Okay, this candle would really have to come back in pretty hard for this to continue to be a valid trend line. But if it came to VWAP and bounced down back to it, I'd want to see what happens there. If I get that, then I might be interested in the next level. I'm not interested in anything right here. Ten minutes to the top of the hour. Now let's do this. Let's make our life a little easier. All right, this is my time zone, so it's an hour off. You want me to pay for the yellow one? It's okay. We'll just keep it there. All right, we'll just leave it there. Okay. go check everybody else out. All right. Let's bring it back. So I want to see, does it bounce here and go up? Or do we vomit through? I don't like taking what I call first ladders. And this would be the first ladder. I'm looking at my clock settings, if you don't mind. Okay. Looks like it bounced off the trend line. All right, let's see what happens. Like I said, I'm interested to see if it bounces off here. And this is just excruciatingly slow. Clock 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Entering into a no trade zone by time. Let's see, does this thing want to touch and bounce? Five minutes to the top of the hour. Let's see if this thing's going to touch and bounce. If it wasn't so close to the top of the hour, I might have taken that. We'll see what happens. I'm going to mentally trade it. Like I said, I don't really like taking first bounces, but I like how we got up over that trend line. We're coming back and back testing into a level. But I don't like the time. I don't like the 5 minutes till the hour, so I don't take it because you tend to get a little weirdness. So this thing coming back in here, if we start closing underneath it, I would call that a valid trend line. You could even maybe adapt it out a little bit and take it to here now. I'm okay with that. So this thing bounces here and comes back over. That'll be fun. Let's see what happens. So in this type of case, so it would have went against me, and then it would have came back. I'd have probably just gotten out at break even and said reset my trade. Why? I wanted to touch my line and bounce, not go through my lining and come back up. I pay my trades to touch and bounce, and so right there you were given the gift of break even. Let's go back to the 30-second chart. Let's take a peek at that. So here, got you in, and then it went down, and then it came back. And most of our levels, 98% of them from my calculations, gives you the opportunity to get out at break even. And I'm telling you, take the gift of break even. This is also why I don't take first ladders. It's also why I don't enter a trade just a few minutes before the top and bottoms of hours. Okay, back to the trend line. Still 3 or 4 minutes to the top of the hour. It's a no trade zone by time. Let's go check everybody else out while we're waiting. Nice. Still within range. Nice bounce off VWAP. Still within range. Still within yesterday's range. Still within yesterday's range. But we all are in the bottom half of yesterday's range after exploring the top half and rejecting. We're all under VWAP. We're all under our opening. And NQ with a nice little move here. Where is the Asia low on NQ? Right here. Might be a nice little reaction there. Or it might come all the way through and then have a reaction. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Looks like ES is about to make a new low as well. Its London liquidity is further away. NQ already took its London. Now it's attacking its Asia and has gotten it. YM still has got its London liquidity to get. Russell has its Asia. So definite beautiful targets below. Let's go back. Where are we on time? 2 minutes before. All right. Testing this again. Minute and a half. Still a no trade zone by time for me. Will it push down here in one candle to the warning shot for bulls in the overnight low to grab that liquidity? I have a strong level there as well. Of course, we got this 30-minute level here. Now, what does it tell us if there's no reaction? Whoa, strength of move. You want there to be a reaction. We want everything to bounce, even if you don't take the trade. And there's the bounce. That's what we do. We draw lines that when they first touch them, they bounce. I have no clue how far they're going to bounce, but they bounce. And once they touch bounce, I remove them because I only trade the first touch. Nice bounce. Okay, so now I would say this trend line is a validated trend line now.
One p.m.
All right, 1 p.m. Silver bullet hour. Let's go check everybody else out real quick. All right, what's NQ going to do right here? I think that's important. All right, we're going to bounce off this little level here. This is a low time frame level. I took it, but I'm being protective. It got me. It didn't do a touch bounce. And that's what the only way I would have played that, it needed to touch and bounce up immediately and strongly. As you can tell, it had a little bit of a reaction, but not really what I wanted. but I like that it's at the bottom of the range. I honestly like that it pushed through the 30-minute level. This is kind of an extension. NQ hitting its low of the day, where most likely it would have a reaction, but this just did not react in the manner in which I needed it to react. There's the reaction. I just needed that to be more instant than it was for me to stay in that trade. It wasn't worth anything. I just did one little tiny MES, but I expected an immediate reaction and did not get that. So no big deal. Move on. All right. So now the liquidity down here is a real target. Everything's out of the way. London, Asia. Warning shot to bulls area. Now, what you don't want to do is just go short here. Don't just go short there. Oh, it's going to grab that. I know it's going to grab that. No, you don't. I wish I did. I wish I knew 100% that's what it would do. I have seen it leave 1 to 2 ticks of not getting there and bounced up and goes 100 points the other way. So you can tell that level I had drawn is giving it a little bit of a fit, but not a whole lot. Nothing worth staying in the trade. Nothing worth staying in the trade, in my humble opinion. Now, is price going to come back to here, give us an opportunity to go short, to then grab that liquidity? Let's see. Let's see. So what would we be looking for in the silver bullet hour? Could it come down here and grab this liquidity and start the ladder up? Very possible. Could we have a nice big vomit to watch out below? I would love that. How slow is price? It's going nowhere fast. It does all this slow stuff, then fast. Slow stuff, fast. Slow stuff, fast. You know, we've had a monster run up. Tomorrow's PCE. Next week, FOMC and NFP. You know, maybe people will start taking some profits here. Well, for a minute I was getting excited. It was going to come back up. Because I love the fact that these magnets are still there. That is pulling price to it. I need some way to get into it. Price did not give me a way to get into it. So sometimes you miss it. All right, let's see what happens. What's everybody else doing? Let's go take a peek. What is everybody else doing? Okay. Okay. NQ is not having the reaction I thought it would have in the timely manner in which I would have thought it would have happened. So once again, we got a magnet here. It's trying to pull price to it. It's looking like it's not going to give me an opportunity to be in the trade, which is fine. If it grabs them, I'm no longer interested in a short until we get into a new area of the chart. Which is down in my blue area here. I would think that if this thing went down, we're going to bounce off this, come back to somewhere in here maybe, and then flush it to here. What do I know? I'm just predicting. It's like a pinball machine. You're trying to figure out where price is going to bounce. Let's go to a 1 minute chart. There's something I'm missing. I don't think so. Go back to a 3 minute chart. Looks like it's going to do it without me. Now, when we were up here, it didn't, in this trend line, I had a little bit more in like this. This did not look like it was going to hold, did it? That's why you got to be patient. Patient. Now I'm going to swing it out just a little bit. Still hadn't taken it. Let's go check everybody else out. NQ is definitely the weaker. ES is the strongest of everybody in my opinion. Doesn't give me a trade. It's excruciatingly slow. My goodness. Like I said, you don't go short just because you think it's going to do something. You just don't. That's telling price what to do. We follow price with a good idea where it will bounce, and we play the bounces. My goodness. Alrighty. So we have this trend line that might try to keep it down. And we have that trend line that might try to keep it down. Or if it gets back above here, it could just suck it straight up hard. You got to be careful. Like I said, this has proven to be a real line, so we'll see. Price is so slow, guys. Nothing on top of nothing. The price just isn't really moving. Let's go check everybody else out. Okay. Candle up, candle up, candle up. Took yesterday's RTH liquidities. They're going to come back in and ladder up. We're just in a tricky area here. Didn't get high enough for me to go short. My goodness. Let's go to a lower time frame here. Looks like, are we starting to ladder back up? So that's the first ladder. Let's see if you can get a second ladder above that orange trend line and that white trend line. Super low time frame. I'm just drawing it on the screen. Is that going to hold? I give it so much value that I'm just drawing it on the screen, not even on the chart. That's how much value I'm giving it right now. Why? We still have these monster magnets down here. We still got this London low, the Asia low, and then the real overnight low is even underneath it. So I don't put much credence into this, but I'm drawing it just to analyze price action. To me, it could come all the way here and still bounce, and I would count that as a first ladder. But then I don't want to see it take out this high. That's what's got to happen. We got to take out this high, get over the orange trend line at least. So several things that got to happen before I'm interested in a trade here. North. I'm looking at a northerly trade now, because it would show me evidence of laddering up against the bottom of the range for the last 3 sessions: Asia, London, New York. And I think if we get back to here, it's going to be game on long. So let's watch what happens. I'll just keep my screen drawings up here for a minute. When you're at the bottom of the range, you should tend to be more interested in more longs than shorts until it breaks it. We've broken nothing. Nothing of importance. All right, let's see if it pops above this. You ever heard the saying, never short a dull market? This seems pretty dull. Oh, I deleted my drawings. Oh, sorry. It's okay. What's not happening? Well, at this point, it's not making higher highs and higher lows. It went up, did a little bit of a bounce, and now, you can almost draw this, right? So, not in love yet. I need obvious signs that it's going to do something. The only thing that's obvious right now, it wants to do nothing. And it might just be resting until tomorrow, PCE number. What do we know? So there's that high we said it needs to take out. And I think if we get past this, it's game on long. Who'd be shocked if they made a new high? Not I. There we go. Very nice. Now we just adapt this out to here. Once again, it's not a real trend line yet. I'm just drawing on the screen. I'm just mapping it out like a chessboard. You move this piece there and move that there, All right, will it bounce there? If it bounces there and gives me one more up, I'll be interested in a long. Oh, I can delete those back like how you do an undo. Very nice. I didn't know I could do that. So there was a little bounce. Will it do it again? We'll see. Remember, this is a super low time frame. I'm on a 30-second chart. I don't put a whole lot into it. We didn't grab liquidity, so I'm not real interested in going long. I wish we would have grabbed this liquidity and then did this. But we didn't grab that liquidity. Let's go look at everybody else real quick. Now, if for some reason NQ was already back up here, it had been laddering, then I'd have been interested. And I still might do it. Okay. So it did bounce off that. It came back twice. Now can we get up over this trend line and over this one? That's the next key. Can this get over both of them? I don't know. It's horrible, ugly price action. Doesn't mean it can't keep going up, though. I'm certainly not looking for a short here. That game's over for now. It could bounce down right here, off of here, and go take this. But based off the bigger trend And the fact we couldn't even grab this overnight low, I lean long, but it's got to prove to me that's what it wants to do. And so if it's going to bounce back down and come grab these lows, it's going to be right here. Let's see what happens. I like to go long or short after it breaks something. And sometimes you can be in the trade going into the break, and it's just phenomenal. Like I said, I wish it had already taken this liquidity down here, because I would be so interested in a long if we got up over the orange. But right there in this box here is where I said price has got to bounce down and come and grab this if they're going to do it. It'll happen here. What do I know? All right, 7 minutes to the bottom of the hour, which is something I watch. Now, where it's going south here is where I initially had my shorts set for this move, but it didn't get there. So I removed them. I expect price to be delivered in a certain fashion. If it's delivered that way, I'll play it. If it's not, I remove my orders. Who cares? Let me check my group. Let me share this 30-second chart. All right, now this will be real interesting here. Do we bust this? Or does it come here and then come take it? I don't know. What do I know? We'll see. I wish it would have already taken this liquidity. It really throws a monkey wrench. Five minutes to the bottom of the hour. Where's my big clock? There we go. This is my time zone. So 5 minutes to 4.5 minutes to the bottom of the hour. To the final 3 30-minute periods of market profile. So will this get defended and they push it down to come grab this liquidity? Then we'll see what happens. Do we ladder south from here, or do we come back in and ladder north? If it does that, they might leave this liquidity here for tomorrow and ladder up and go back to POC. Let's go see where POC is. I bet POC hasn't moved. Yeah, POC is still up here at 17. Now on a 3-minute chart, you can see these candles. It's just easier to see the structure a little bit lower. Let's go to a 1 minute. Does a 1 minute give me structure? It sure does. I'll take it on the 1 minute. I don't need the 30 seconds here. And with the magnet of the London overnight low and Asia overnight low, you just feel like that they'd want to grab it, but I can't anticipate trade. If you'd anticipate a trade anywhere in here, you are now short, stuck in a ladder up sequence. That's why I don't do that. I love how I can do that. All right, can this thing get up here and give us something here? I'll go long with this as my target. It's got to prove it to me, though. And sometimes it'll run without you. You get a big white candle and it just goes. And you're like, oh, well, I missed it. I saw it right, which happened this morning. We saw it perfectly. But price moved in such a way that I was not able to really be in the trades I wanted to be in. I mean, I made 5 points, but that's nothing to write home to mama about. Okay, let's see what happens here. Nice. Can you pop it? I'd love to see NQ start getting some up candles here. But NQ's the weakest. Can it pop back over this trend line? You got to admit it's pretty cool how price is dancing with it. And this is a multi-day trend line I drew days ago that I've been showing you each morning in the AM briefing. It's decision time. Well, there's 2 decision times, but this is the first one right here. And the next one for me is, what does it do here at this 6 points from POC, this red dashed line? What are you going to do, guys? All right, so you see my scenario, you see my target. I'll turn that off just so I can see the price better. I think it's going to do it. What do I know? Fake out everybody who went short here, and then they all run for the door to get out. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Very interesting. It's be very interesting here. It's right. It's so funny. It is literally at the apex of the trend lines. What's it going to do? Well, I got this. We'll see if it pops and does that and comes to POC. Let's see what happens. We'll stand up. Tired of sitting down. There we go. Come on, up. Decision time here, boys. You'd like to see it not go any lower than this 0375, but knowing how sloppy price action is, 0250 seems more like it. So you're going to pop it. What you gonna do when they come for you? Big decision time here. Like I said, I think this 0250 or whatever should be the lowest it goes if it's going to go up. Let me draw this in here. And I think if it shoots it, like I said, it probably comes back to POC. I did go long there. If it gets me, I'm going to be protective. Why? Because it's still got these big magnets down here. Had these magnets not been existed, I would have done this bigger. But, and if it gets me, it gets me. What do I care? It's got to do it right. And I'm not really getting my setup here. I'm kind of getting in it too early, but this is what I'm looking at on the screen above my head, are these things. And I'm like, it's going. It's going. And when it does it, I'm not going to be able to get in. I just felt like I had to get in there on that. But small, and if it would have popped and went up, I mean, that'd have been 10 points. I mean, that's a good day. Time for a refreshing beverage. It's not wanting to go fast, is it? Well, we saw this really well. It bounced each time we thought it needed to bounce. Now it's decision time right here. Man, is it going to go without me? It's got to give me something. Let me go to a 30-second chart. Do I got anything I can lean on? 0525. So I got a bit of a volume imbalance thing here. On a really low time frame, that's a level. And what do we got now? We're getting above this trend line. We're getting above this trend line. Is it going to come back in? See what happens right here. Come on, let's go, pop it. So there's the touch bounce there. Which is all you can expect a 30-second level to do, right? You know? So let's go back to 1 minute. I want to see if I'm seeing anything else here. On a 1 minute, this is nothing. That might be interesting there. So price got up. So we had this trend line. Price kind of breaking it, come back and testing. Now, this one did have candle closures above it. Now, this is a 1 minute chart, but notice this one didn't. Let's go to 3 minutes. What does this look like on 3 minutes? Okay. All right, let's see if that holds now. There's your reaction. Will that gather enough buyers to keep the momentum of this going up? This area is still the battleground. It looked like for a minute it was going to just go up. That's why you can't just go long here. You got to have a level that you can at least lean on. And you go, okay, I'll try it here. All right, what you're going to do? I hate that it came back under the orange trend line, which is the 30-minute trend line. But on a 30-minute chart, this is nothing. This is like a little wick or something. Let's go to 30-minute chart. I mean, you can see it's just nothing. 3-minute chart. Let's go to 1-minute chart. I'm going to delete that. $20 left for the silver bullet hour. Join a good root beer. Go to a 10-minute chart on here. So a 10-minute chart, it's pretty easy to draw this trend line. Let's throw that on there to get a little bit better on that. Use a little higher time frame trend line there. That level had its chance. It had its chance. Couldn't hold the move. Couldn't hold the move. Let's go to 1 minute just to see structure a little bit more smaller. See if it'll hold it. Let's go check everybody else out. Are we seeing any writing on the wall? Okay, a little pullback. It should bounce there. NQ is back up into yesterday's range. That is not to be ignored. Like I said, it's real difficult when you got these magnets down here. Just is. Because even if they were going to take this thing up here at the end of the day, they still might want to come and grab this. You'd kind of like that to be grabbed and out of the way so the magnet doesn't keep pulling. Do you know what I mean? All right, let's see what that little level does. It's not a first touch level. It's just a level you see where it was defended a few times before. Will they defend it again, or that's it? All right, about 15 more minutes and I'll be done. Now, on a 3-minute chart, it would make me want to draw it differently. It would make me want to draw this. And if you want to go to the body, which it's a little more aggressive, go to the wick, it's a little more liberal. So you can see the two trend lines there on kind of two different time frames. On a 1 minute now, I'd probably adapt it a little bit to there. There's not a whole lot to hang your hat on, really. Actually, that's the trend line. Can I hold it up? Not that I need that trend line. I don't. We can see it. The trend lines are helpful when you can't see the candles outside of your screen. You know what I mean? The longer it goes, the more I think these become big magnets. All right, it's just going nowhere. It's not proving anything to me really yet. We seem to have evidence of laddering up from down here. But like I said, I wish it would have already grabbed the liquidity. But if we are at the bottom of the range, it's going to be more defended. It's going to be harder to get priced down. And on a 3-minute, still pretty easy to say, oh, I can see the candles like that pretty easy. Of course that too, right? But we're at the bottom of the range here and wanting to see if this thing wants to ladder up. That's what I'm looking for. And it may not. Got big magnets below us where liquidity wants to be taken. "13 minutes to the top of the hour. Tomorrow's PCE. This thing may not want to do anything until tomorrow. Okay, what are you going to do? Let's go check everybody else out. Okay, still trying to get into yesterday's range. We're still all in yesterday's range. "10 minutes to the top of the hour. Right here. Let me bring in this clock. Slop and chop fest continues. Straight sideways, basically. Let's check everybody else out again. Let's go back to everybody else again. My train. The reason why we look at everybody else. Are we all on the same train? Are we all on the same train? Only in the sense that we're all in the bottom of yesterday's range. We're near the bottom of the overnight range. Usually when you're at the bottom of ranges, it's better to look for longs than shorts until it breaks the bottom. When you're at the top of the range, it's better to look for shorts till it breaks the top. Let's go to 3-minute chart. Hawk is still up there. Let's just pull it in the day so we're not so zoomed in now. Price really isn't doing anything to be that zoomed in. Eight minutes to the top of the hour. See what's going to happen. It's going to pop the top. See, I think a lot of people go long down here in general. And this is why looking for longs works most of the time. These people who went short are getting caught off sides. And some of them are starting to probably say, uh-oh, top of the hour is near. Do I want to be in this trade as we turn over on the hour? Let's go take a peek at everybody else. Oops. That's the weekly chart. Let's look at this. This is the important one, I think, because NQ's been the weakest. And with NQ coming in, I think that's going to give everybody the push they need to get up there. So I've been long. Not that this is recorded, I forget. It's not that I want to encourage you to go long. Obviously, you're going to see this way later. So I'm going to follow one at 50% here. So let's say it's at, let's say $40. What do? You move it to $20. That's all. Small. There we go. Shorts run for the door. 5 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to lock in both of those, and I'm going to just watch now. There we go. There we go. It went to 50, so I want to move this to 25. Now you got VWAP right up here at 11. So if you wanted, you could set one here and say, okay, it's either going to take this one or it's going to take that one. Well, it could take both of these, but we'll see. I'm going to take one right in front of VWAP. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. And it's tough because you got these trend lines here that very well could bounce price back down. All right, that hit 60. I'm going to move this to 30. I'll follow it at 50%. Neither one it hits, I'll just remove the other one. So if it takes this one out, I'll just remove this one. If it takes this one out, I'll remove that one. Come on. So MES. This type of price action is not worth betting big on, in my opinion. Because if it runs up there to POC, this will be a very nice trade. Now it's got to get through two trend lines in VWAP. I don't know if it'll do it. 3 minutes to the top of the hour. And more than likely the shorts run for the door. You know, the other way to play it is say, okay, we're about to have the top of the hour. This thing could just pop through, remove this. When price gets above it, go back and put it here. And now VWAP is kind of my backup level. We'll see. Still got these trend lines got to deal with and VWAP. Tough area. And if it gets me out, it gets me out. What do I care? I can't control what price does after I'm in. I can only read the price action and try to be with the trade. And for me, we were bottom of range. But what I didn't like is we still had these magnets here. Very likely to come back in here. So I was playing it small, but trying to play with trend. Okay, so I got one left. I'm going to remove this one. Let's lock this one in at 2 points. And I'll just hands off. And try to get a 10-pointer. Where's a 10-pointer? 10-pointers here at 1250. 1250. Where's 1250? Well, if it gets to 1250, it's probably going to 1750. All right, let's go. Come on. There we go. Very nice. Come on, let's see if we can get back to POC. The goal we talked about earlier. This is when I talk about trade location. Okay? And this is for my members. What was not happening here? Or all of this, really. What was not happening? It's very important to know that. And then to realize I'm at the bottom of a range. What's the smartest play at the bottom of the range? Look for a long. How do you look for a long? Drop in time frames and watch the price action. Now, it could have ripped my head off and still came down here. And I would have went, yep.
2 p.m.
All right, so it is now power hour. Tell my group what I'm in. All right. So I like it. Come on. Take out both these trend lines. In fact, sometimes I play this little stupid king. You know what? Let me remove these lines that'll bounce price, and maybe price will go right through it. Maybe price will go right through it if I delete my bounce lines. Let me screenshot this, put it in my group. All right, come on, get up there. Now it pops over this 1275. I'm going to put my stop there to lock in a 10-pointer. Because I like 10 pointers, 20 pointers, 30 pointers. Would that have given me my profit on my other one? No. It's no big deal. Just 2 contracts. I entered at 2 different locations using that range. And we'll see what happens. I think I'll lock in 3 points now. Now, if we can pop VWAP with a vengeance, but more than likely it's going to come back. And that's why I had my get out of that other contract somewhere about right there, but it didn't quite happen. So we'll see. I don't mind 3 points. I could get 6 right there and just say, oh, give me 6. But to me, the writings on the wall were going up. Let's go check everybody else out. What are we getting? Okay. Oh, yeah. 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 Okay. I got to stick with it here. See what happens. $17.50 is POC. My goal. I will lock in 10 points when we get past it. All right, so 10 points is at the $50 mark. I would think we make it here unless it gets rejected here. Because I got VWAP, I got 6 points from VWAP. I have yesterday's half back. And of course, the ultimate target up here is this. Is it going to bounce off my strong level again? I don't know. All right, now I'm going to lock in 4 points, 50% of the journey. Very well could be where price comes back in and gets me. Oh well. I'm trying for the larger move. If I wanted to just maximize where I thought the next price would bounce, I would have had my stop right there like I did earlier. But time of day, writing on the wall, watching price action. I want to see if I can get that. And by the way, my stop for my trade was under this level I drew. Now we're back over this 30-minute. Can we stay? I won't survive a back touch because it'll get me out, I'm pretty sure. 06, and I don't really care. I'm going to follow it at 60% of the move. 06 is right at the trend line. It's okay. Come on. Jackie's long also in my group. And wouldn't be surprised at all. It gets me out and I only capture 3 points of the 6-point move. It's okay. If you care too much about the outcome, you're probably trading too big. You know, our levels bounce about 92% of the time. So most of our trades make us money. We just never know how far they're going to go. Come on. Everybody get out of your shorts. Tomorrow's PCE. You're not going to take it down, it looks like. Come on. Big white candle. Big white candle. Big white candle. Come on. Come on. And you just wait. And if this causes you anxiety, remove it. Who cares? Gotta send this screenshot to a member. It's better to experience the anxiety of staying in a trade than the anxiety of looking for a new trade. Come on, let's pop it. Let's go look at everybody else. Okay. Look where POC is for NQ and ES. Certainly looks like I'm in a good trade. Looks like I'm with the current. I'm back at half back though of today. Here's half back of yesterday. Strong level, POC. Looks like I'm in a good trade. Once it gets here to this 50, I'll move my stop to the 25. That's 50% of the follow. But I think if we get above this, we're going here. So we'll see. Got to get above it, though. Got to break VWAP. Got to break it. Oh, come on. And this will be my final trade no matter what. I'll take my profit today and be content. And certainly not surprised where price turned around. But I wanted to give it every chance I could. It could still bounce. It could come down a little bit more than bounce up. And maybe it won't get me. But I'm not willing to move my stop any further. As I said, if I wanted to maximize before a bounce level, you take your profit there. If I'm wanting 10 points or more, you've got to play the follow game until you can get some protection layers. Never got to the 10 points because 1250 is up here. I've got one protection layer right there. That's where price should bounce. If price doesn't bounce, go ahead and get me out. It should bounce right here. Of course, we're power hour. Your levels are less meaningful. PCE tomorrow, people positioning for major red folder event tomorrow. Please, your levels are not that important to anything. This is why I don't typically trade during this time. I'm only trading this time because I'm managing a trade. And when it gets me out here, I shall be done. And there's the bounce. I no longer have a protection layer. That's where price should bounce. But most of the time, this is not a big enough pullback to break VWAP. You're kind of hoping that when it's doing this, it has enough momentum that it just rips through it. And that's my final trade. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the AM briefing.